and this is my Slovak experience.
Hello everybody. Thank you for listening to my Slovak experience. I am still here in 2020 and very happy to bring you more and more conversation on this platform. Today I'm talking to Alan Colpaert, a Brazilian who came to Slovakia 4 years ago and had stayed until recently. He is now living and working in Prague for an international company. At the same time, he also runs his own business, including, for example, a website where he connects stylists, makeup artists, and hairdressers with potential clients. What is it like to own a small business in Slovakia? For answers to this and to other questions, listen to the episode with Alan Colpaert. Enjoy, and thank you a lot for listening. I'm here with Alan Colpaert, right?
Yep.
So Alan, welcome to my Slovak experience. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So interesting when I met you, because you are actually not yet already living in Slovakia, right? You are living in the Czech Republic, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you are living in Slovakia. So for me, it's even more interesting to have this kind of perspective, right? To know from where you came from, right? And also why you are living where you're living. So let's start from Slovakia from the beginning. So what took you to Slovakia originally, and also where you're from?
Well, I'm from Brazil originally. My father is from Portugal. And the story, when I arrived in Slovakia, I essentially got here 4 years ago. I was in Spain, had an MBA there, and then started to work for a colleague from the master in a startup remotely, and they decided to open an office here in Bratislava. Essentially, when he told me that they wanted to come here, I said, "Where is Bratislava?" And then I Googled it, and then I said, "Okay, let me go for a weekend to give it a try." I came. It was very nice weekend. It was, my first impression was that it was a, let's say, very affordable place to be. So I said, okay, let's give it a try. Let's go for 6 months with this startup. So I came 4 years ago.
Directly for business, then? That's
Yeah, it was then with my job at that time.
What was it?
I was a financial controller for a startup of a friend of mine. So I came here with this job. So after 6 months, they decided not to continue, not to open the office in the end. And then I decided to be here. I like it. And I applied for jobs in the city, and I got the job in Johnson Controls.
Ah, okay. So that is one of the big business service company here in Slovakia. Interesting. And so Brazil is what's your city? Where?
I am from Rio de Janeiro.
From Rio de Janeiro, from the capital. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So what is the knowledge from that part of the world? We never had Brazilians in my Slovak experience. So about Slovakia and this reality we have here.
You might be having more soon, because it seems that the situation there is not so good. So people are trying their way out. So they are going to other countries. But like, I almost didn't meet many Brazilians here. I try not to be much with them, because my goal is always to be with international people. But yeah, that was it. So.
And when you came, do you remember what was your impression?
The first one, I arrived here and it was like, okay, this is a mini Russia. and I might like it because the girls are beautiful and etc. That's what this country was known in Brazil for. And I said, okay, I left the MBA and I want to try to build a career internationally. I think here there are many possibilities, many alternatives. So I also made a small research. Okay, there's IBM, there's Johnson Controls, these things. So I said, okay, I think this is a good spot to have my first international job, let's say, second at that point. And then from here we see where I'm gonna go. I ended up staying 4 years.
4 years, actually. So so that means that because usually many, after the first year or two, you have like the critical moment and you say, okay, let's see, do I want to still stay? Because what are the additional reasons to stay? So what were your additional reasons to stay in Slovakia then after the beginning?
Well, the thing is that when it was probably money because I didn't totally leave the startup job when I entered Johnson Controls, so I was doing two jobs. So I was with a good salary and cost of living here was very low. So I was trying to study if I would get this kind of situation anywhere else in Europe. And turns out that I said, okay, I think I'm doing good here. And then I decided to stay. Then I stayed only with Johnson Controls, but already looking for something to go to London or something like that. But then I started to build friends. Girlfriend came, and then I was doing well here. Started to invest in properties, a business I told you about. So things ended up going well for me, and I decided to stay. But suddenly I got a very good opportunity in Prague. So I'm trying to have two lives now, there and here. And that was essentially the story, man. So I really, bottom line is that I stayed here because I saw that it's a country with many opportunities. It's many opportunities. It seems that it's moving a generation from this communist generation to the new, more like new people, young people coming and new business opportunities coming. So it's a trampoline, let's say, for you to go either to somewhere else or to start something, to test something here. It's a good market.
How are you dealing with all the, you talk about business and starting business, or the local bureaucracy and the language?
Yeah, that's crazy. But there are many obstacles, but not barrier obstacles, but you face this everywhere. Life,
of course,
professionally, and these things were just making me stronger each time I was getting out of one obstacle. Like I don't speak the language at all, so I depend on people to do my taxes. I depend on people to understand how I open a business here. All these type of things. I depend on my partner to kind of do Instagram posts because I cannot do myself.
If you have to write in Slovak.
From small things to big things, I depend on everyone that speaks the language. So language is mainly the barrier. I don't think it's very bureaucratic, I'm seeing more bureaucracy in Czechia than here. But there is some.
And the comparison with the Czech Republic experience? So how long have you been now in
I
Prague?
moved 2 months ago.
Okay, not so long.
Yeah, not so long. First impression was in the foreigner police, of course. Here, if you're complaining about the foreigner police from here, you have never been to the Czechia one. Guys, it's crazy there.
Okay.
It's crazy. My experience there, I arrived with a form filled up in English. The woman said no. She like marked everything. No, come with a translator, and this has to be filled up in Czech. Here, when I went to the foreigner police here, they were even speaking English. So that was my first impression of both countries, and there seems to be much more tough.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is much more immigrants there.
Mm-hmm.
That might be the difference here. Kind of not so many people coming. So there they need to be more tough. But yeah, these are the first impression of both countries in terms of bureaucracy and obstacles.
But I mean, people will always come because there is always a natural, refreshment of populations in any country. There are a lot of people going, people coming. That is never gonna be stopping or increasing. I mean, there might increase in some areas, but it's always like a steady wave. But it's important, I think, to think, how to welcome whoever is coming, so that they have all the setup and information and ideas of what to do from when they start, and how to get, to not, stop their life. I had some friends, for example, that they had to leave the country because they forgot to do a paper, right? And maybe that because there was not, somebody might say, yeah, it's their fault, but someone might say, yeah, but it's part of as well informing and being open and having availability of information at hand and so on. So I would say you perhaps that you are coming from outside Europe, right? Was it a very time-consuming experience for you to get a visa and come here and start working and so on?
No, it was not, because my father is also Portuguese,
Okay.
so I have the double citizenship.
okay.
So Europe was actually the best location for me to stay, because I really wanted to leave Brazil. I had a good job there, I had a good family, everything, but I was really dating a girl there that opened a bunch of things of opportunities abroad for me, opened my mind for that. So initially I wanted to go to the US. I went, I lived in San Diego for 1 year, but to be there visa wise is more difficult. So I said, okay, I need to go to Europe. Then I went to Spain, did the master, lived a little bit in Austria, then I came here. So since I arrived in Europe, I had no difficulties in regards to documentation, because it's like with the European passport makes your life easier.
So you traveled quite a lot around.
Yeah, man, I did.
US,
So that was my goal.
Brazil,
That was
Austria.
my goal when I left.
Portugal as well, I guess.
Portugal, when I was in Spain, I had I worked there as a consultant, and I had a few projects in Portugal, because they were using me because of the language. So I lived in Lisbon for 4 months, something like that. But more time in Bratislava, 4 years, and now moved to Czechia.
So what has Slovakia as a plus compared to all these other countries you experienced?
I
If
think
there is
it's
a
an
plus.
opportunity, man. It's about opportunity here. Like, it seems that here I still don't see like a small Brazilian supermarket where I can buy some stuff from Brazil. Maybe you might have the same.
No, unfortunately, I mean, or fortunately for Italians, everywhere in the world you go, you find Italian
you guys
food,
find a
right?
way to bring the
So, yes.
the seafood.
I mean, you might always complain because there are a lot of Italian folks that keep complaining because maybe there is not exactly that product you want, or maybe you go to the local producer and so on.
Yeah.
But generally, to find those basic ingredients, even olive oil, right? Maybe you bring it from Italy, but you can buy olive oil here. Maybe it's a little bit more expensive for that brand you want to, but you can still find it. It doesn't mean that it's not there, right? So,
But if you
what
go
about you?
anywhere around in the big cities, these already exist.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Here's like something that it's still growing. Still, there's a lot to come, a lot to change. I went to if you go to the Christmas market, it's already so different from last year.
Yeah.
You know, if you go to the city center, the new businesses that are there, the new stores that are opening. There's a Starbucks in the middle of Franciscanski and Amastia, man.
Yeah.
If you spot a Starbucks opening, you know that this area is gonna grow, because they have a lot of data analytics. You know these things.
Yeah, to
They come
justify
before.
the
They come
opening of a new
before. They
business.
come
Yes.
before. So you will see.
Yeah.
So it's all about what like really makes a plus here, as your question was. It's the opportunities, you know.
So the expansion in a shorter time, right?
Real estate market, everything that you put today an investment, I'm sure you're gonna get the return in a few months or years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how this that if you can compare the life for a citizen, you know, transport,
Excellent.
services, and so on.
I forgot to mention that, but I know where you're gonna go. For example, in Brazil, I was taking 1 hour to arrive to my work in a heavy traffic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, then in Spain the same. Then when I came to Europe, I started to use bicycle. These things
Mm-hmm.
it got more like nicer, but still takes some time in the big metropolis, big cities. And when I arrived here, I like you walk anywhere 10 minutes.
Yeah.
The public transportation works on time and like it's quick. You go to the other side of the city in 20 minutes. So these are things that really make my life, if you have a busy life, makes your life much more effective. When I was living here, I had time to do everything. To have 2 jobs, to go to the gym, to go out for a dinner, everything the same day. You cannot, if you go to a bigger city, you need to blend. You need to go to the gym in your lunchtime. You cannot go to dinner after work because you arrive home already late. You know, so that was something that I already missed from here.
So living in Bratislava, because also Prague is more than millions of folks, right? So it's
registered there is 1.2 million.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's a lot of East European people coming, so this could be close to 2 million.
Complex. Even if what I love in Prague is the metro, because it takes you everywhere.
I like
quickly.
it too, man. I love metro.
So
I love
that's
metro.
something that would be missing, I would say, in the Slovakia.
Which city are you from?
In my case,
Yeah.
I'm
What's
from
your city?
From Italy.
Which city?
In a small town called Udine. That is
Udine. Okay, I know
in
just
the
the soccer team.
So if you might know it for the soccer team, right? But you just have to place it between Venice and Slovenia, right? So in the midway between those two areas, you have
okay, cool.
But it's a small town. It's like less than 100,000 people. So you have even more of this kind of setup where people take the car even to go to the hairdresser that is 10 minutes away because you're used to park in front of everything, right?
But
usually
in the end it will become here like this here. I think it will become like this. You already see difference in the traffic.
Yeah.
You came here with traffic today. It will get busier. The companies are making easier for you to buy cars.
Yeah.
The interest rates for the leasing, for the loans, car loans are very low. So the banks are making you consume more. So you see only one person in each car when you are traveling.
But it's nice that you see also at the same time a lot more scooters and bicycles than in the past, right? So and I even in the train now that I started commuting some, with the bike, right, at the beginning of I would the spring of this year, but I now that is actually approaching winter, I see way more of the same type of kind of foldable bikes I bought, right? People in the train with it, or people around, and it's like this last year there was much more expansion to all of this.
Yeah, I think there's also some projects ongoing for implementing more bike lanes here. I remember I saw this. Well, if it's still not that busy to be dangerous, but I think it's one of the cities that this is like very, very like good. This part of transportation with bicycles and scooters. I like it, man. I like it. Like I was using a lot these shareable, the yellow bikes.
Yeah. But you can take it and
Yeah.
drop it somewhere else.
So cool, so cool.
And okay, tell me also what are the, so if we think about the evolution of Slovakia and the pluses in this side, what's the negative side then, right? What you don't like about Slovakia? What would you change about it?
To be honest, it's quite perfect for me. Like, there is a transitioning that might be happening in the head of people, right? The more international things are happening here, they will be ending up being more open-minded for things, because for now I see the Slovaks is still a little bit like closed-minded, but it's changing. Probably was much worse before. So that was negative, but it's changing. So I don't see any big thing on this. This is just a transitioning moment. Wow, it's hard for me to come up with something that I do not like or I see bad here. I see bad if really the companies that are here, IBM, Johnson Controls, they start seeing that is not a good deal for them to be here anymore.
Okay.
You know, then the growth will kind of stop. Like, and there's a financial crisis coming. I don't know how these people will, this business will stand. You know, and this is something that I'm foreseeing to be like a risk for the country. You know, because I think the automobile industry here is one of the biggest ones.
It is the biggest. Yeah.
And it's the first one to get the hit. It's the first one to get the hit, and if they start chopping heads, then no people don't buy, the money doesn't like run in the economy, and then ends up getting bad, and then growth stagnates. So this is the only risk that I see, like from my point of view. Negative for like life, it's pretty awesome, man.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty awesome. I liked my experience here.
So you started also a side business meanwhile you were in Johnson Controls, right? So what was it?
Well, I always try to work in two things. So when I was in Johnson Controls, I was also with the previous startup of a friend. It's a telecommunication business. And then when I stopped, I decided to look for something for me to do here after work. And how I spot that, I had a friend. I had a friend in Johnson Controls that she was a makeup girl, right? So I started to ask her if there's anyone doing like makeup at home, right? Because in Brazil this is very common. My mom, my sister, if they had a party, they take like 1 hour to go to a hairdresser, as you were saying in your city as well, by car. So they would rather have someone come into their house. So there was always a woman coming to their house to do nails, to do makeup, to do hair before they had a wedding or something like that. And I started to investigate here how this works, and people were still rather going to their small cities with that hairdresser that they do since they are young.
Yeah.
And I said, and here in Bratislava, there's no one that goes in the house. There is some people going to the house. And how do I find these people? There was not a single place for me to see the profile of the girls and choose one of them and put my address and get them coming. So I said, okay, let's make a test. I built a small, quick website, and this girl bought 5 friends of her, makeup and hair stylists. And I started to talk with friends. So look, check my website if you need nails or makeup for a party. So I started to coordinate this, to organize this, and I validated the idea. And I think some 2 years ago, I decided to go for it, make more investments, and I created Stylista that I already talk to you about it. And it's essentially an online platform where people can see the profile of the stylists from Bratislava, choose a date and time, and we list the available stylists on that date, and they choose the service and book, and the person comes to their house to provide the service in their house. So it's going well. From May of this last year, I started to heavily invest on this, and I got the first official bookings. So the plan now is to go to Malatski, the other Chamorin, the cities close by here, also to the east. So it seems like it's the first online platform for this business. It's like a Uber for
service.
This type of services. So we are just the broker. And I'm enjoying, man. I'm learning a lot. I'm able to put a lot of things that I learned in the MBA, and I really enjoyed it. It's a pity that I don't speak the language, because I could have done much more. But
that's I mean, but still, you always can find someone that helps.
yeah.
But it's good to learn, eh? Also, Czech and Slovak are not so.
So this shared economy, all this type of business are coming here.
Yeah, I remember one of the guests in my Slovak experience, Shimpi. She is from India, right? She was telling me that in India, it's even more advanced, this kind of service at home. It's not only for hairdresser, but it's for cooking, for washing homes, for taking out the dogs, for any service. You have mobile apps, and everybody's so like people. When I have also from where I work, right? Sometimes I meet some colleagues from India, right? They just have meetings there at home, and you have behind people doing what is the person doing, right? And the answer is they came to cook for me, right? So they enter the house, they cook, they leave the food, and they leave. So you don't have to spend time on all these activities. You just pay the service, and you get the food ready or the hairstyle.
You buy time.
You can advance the level of this. It's just people needs to get used to it. Let's say, right? I think that still also in Slovakia there is this idea that if you have cleaning people, like a cleaning company coming to your house, the old generation might consider it as like, what? You should do it your own, right?
Good point.
So there is a part of it that maybe from cultural base needs also to evolve, but new generation, I don't think they have this kind of bias.
And I have one little thing on top of that, which is who is willing to do this job here? We don't have in terms of nationality. The Slovaks will not do it, because this is a very low wage job. So it works in countries where there is the supply for that, right?
Okay.
But here I see a lot of Ukrainians, Hungarian people coming. So they benefit from the euro currency, and they might be willing to do this as extra job.
But why is it low? I mean, I consider it as a catering is for high profile restaurant, right? So you have a super high restaurant that you also provide catering, and you just have the chef that for that day is preparing things for.
Oh, that's
for
a different market.
Right? And in the same way, it's like you have a super high and kind of hairdresser that's to just not only to round their salary, but also to provide the service. They might also say, one day I just go around. Right?
Then I understood you wrong. I thought it was really to do a small cooking at home, a small cleaning.
No, but also for makeup or whatever, right? It's I don't think it is a low profile thing. It's you can have your own, own kind of set of suitcase with all the tools you have, and then you go and you provide the same service.
I find it cool. I think these people that are doing this are smart. They can make more money than working here in corporations. If they are quick, if they know how to go around the city, if they have a cell phone, if they have a customer base, man, they can, if they put if they make some hard work, they can take some money out of that.
Because you basically the price for, let's say, if you for a haircut at home is a bit higher than the one you do it, or not? What
No,
are
the
prices
opposite,
difference?
because the salon owners, they have to pay the rent,
Yeah.
so they need to repass that rent to the stylist. The stylist needs to repass the price to the. So there's a lot of margins there,
Mhm.
and in the end, who pays more? It's us.
Mm-hmm.
If you go there, the girls put their own prices, and they don't have to pay rent of chairs in the
Mhm.
saloons. So it might be a good. It's
Yeah.
like the taxi. It's
Yeah,
like
I
the
know.
Airbnb. End up being cheaper because there's no physical place,
Mhm.
right?
There might be maybe people not trusting someone to come to your home at the same time. So how do you deal with that part?
It's a very good point. This was something that came up in the beginning
Mm-hmm.
when I was doing, let's say, SWOT analysis, if this would be a problem. But man, the only way you pass through this one is if you put the testimonial of prior clients in your platform, you know.
Yeah.
So and I really need to make an assessment of all the stylists that I'm recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a small background check to see if they didn't have a problem before, if they're like they would not cause any problem, you know. And so far zero problems. I don't think that people will end up getting used to that. They will see that this saves them a lot of time, you know.
So tell me about how this culture in Brazil, perhaps, right? That like, is it a normal thing for everyone, or
uh
that might be the ultimate goal, right? That you have here as well.
like how the clients see people coming to
Yeah.
their house to do the service. Man, there is 10 times more dangerous than here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is really a hot topic, because sometimes you order Uber and the Uber driver steals you.
Mm-hmm.
They are usually robbers pretending to be Uber
Mhm.
driver. So you face a lot of these schemes there. It's really dangerous. So you really need to rely on the platform that you are booking,
Mhm.
right? You really need to see, and like if you want to save your time, this is a risk you're gonna take,
Mhm.
and then you get used with one stylist, you like her, and then you just book that one,
Oh,
you
yeah.
already know. And if you enter in the profile of the girls, there is the reviews from the other clients, so you see that nobody had a problem. But it is a good point, it is a good point.
Oh, it's also the platform as such, right? That is becoming at the same time like a trust um, kind of
Vehicle.
environment, right?
Mhm.
The same issue is happening nowadays with LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, right? At the beginning they were just we just let people tell whatever stuff, right? And if somebody says shit, it's their fault. And now they started thinking like revolution has been created, people has been killed and stuff like that because of the platform. So they are investing a lot into making sure that there are the trusted profiles, kicking out profiles that are just trolling and so on, right? So eventually there is a bit of responsibility of the platform, but at the beginning is people that naturally I would say are positive, right? So if you think about the negative things are usually more soundy, but they are way less than the positive that you can get from this, right? So that's my view.
Yeah, when there is a negative event, people tend to talk to 20 people. If there is a positive event,
Yeah,
nobody.
exactly. So I think it's by using and keep using the more it grows, and the more it grows then you have more options as well for your area, and then you might have better artists that are coming. And maybe one day I wish there would be also this for other things, right? So I need a plumber, I need some electrician help, or I just need a cook. Why not?
The thing is that there is, right, on Facebook, for example, you go there, you Facebook plumber,
Mm-hmm.
you will list some of them, but then like maybe yeah, you do have the reviews there, but if you have an app, a platform quickly just for that
No, exactly.
specific one, you
Yeah,
know.
it's
So
much
yeah,
better.
it's missing for like for example, I always wanted to have like someone cleaning my house, and I struggle so much. I had to go to the foreigner group
Mm-hmm.
in Facebook and ask for someone, because if I Google, I don't find anywhere where I can see the prices of each
Mm-hmm.
person that comes to my house, what's their past experience, what's their skills, you know. It had to go through recommendation, and maybe I spend a lot of time getting one recommendation. I call the girl is not available in the day that I want,
Mm-hmm.
or she comes and I don't like. So it has to be one place where I can quickly see all of this,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And yeah, but this probably is gonna be a trend here for all these type of services, you know. We'll be seeing that for sure.
Interesting change.
If you go to big cities like New
But
York, London, these all these things already work.
so in your case, I need to go to stylist.sk or what? How to spell it?
Stylista.
Stylista. So it's
E Stylista.
okay.
We put on the
That sounds
links later.
Brazilian as well.
It was kind of yeah, it was difficult to find a name, and like because the goal was like stylist
Mhm.
listed,
Yeah.
a list of stylists. So in Portuguese, kind of I blended a little
Yeah,
bit.
it's nice. Sounds nice.
Okay, okay.
Cool. So let's wish you all the best
Yeah,
for
man.
this. I think it's gonna be quite interesting if folks know. Also, particularly, I think that the main one that are impacted by this not knowing, right, are tendentially the foreigners, right,
Mm-hmm.
or or maybe the people that are the foreigners into any place, right? Might be a foreigner that comes from Kosice to Bratislava, lives in Bratislava, has no idea where to go, right? Or like where to go for a hairdresser, where to go for a stylist, so, or foreigners from another country that they actually don't know where to go. So that's actually the first one that could be the customers and interested in more services.
That comes to that point where I mentioned about the negative thing of here, because the people are still a little bit closed-minded, mainly on the
Mhm.
business side. They do not put words in their website in English. So if I Google hairdresser in English, nothing will come up, right? But if I Google in Slovak, it will come up everything.
Mhm.
So they need to start understanding that there is how many foreigners here in Bratislava, you know. There's a hell of a business opportunity for them if they start
Yeah.
doing the things in English.
No, that's true. But I mean, in my case, in 10 years, I've been living in Slovakia, and I know how I don't know how many, several hundreds of times I cut my hair, right? I never had a hairdresser speaking English, right? So I always, I had, at the beginning was no conversation. Now there is a little conversation in Slovak, right? But that's also one of the limitation, right? So the hairdresser career path doesn't usually get you to the English, need to English knowledge, right? And that's maybe a problem. But you never know. And English now, if you need to watch stuff or go around English, you need it much more. So it might still become the one of the more.
Yeah, so
I wish for
people
the
are
advanced.
losing opportunity not speaking English. Like I believe the hairdressers that have English speakers, they're getting much more clients.
Hmm. It's like another value, right? Like the doctor that speaks English or the
Yeah, yeah,
dentist
yeah,
that
yeah.
speaks English. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And considering the expansion, particularly in Bratislava, with many companies and many businesses coming, you might need, for example, still in the Johnson Controls is providing services to all Europe from Bratislava, so you might need someone speaking Spanish because you provide
Yeah.
the service in Spanish. So you have obviously some Spanish folks coming here and work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you need it. Cool. What are you missing from Brazil?
Oh man, I'm definitely
Or
missing
if that
some-
is still your second home or your first home, or
I miss the beach, brother.
mm,
I miss hanging out at the beach, and But here I discovered new things for me, like snowboarding, which I also am enjoying.
You learned here?
Yeah,
Okay.
I learned 1 year ago. Kat taught me.
With
And
several bruises and falls at the beginning, but okay.
so far so good. I had the base from the skate and from the surfing, so it was not that difficult. But I definitely miss the temperature,
Yeah.
the warm weather. Like yesterday, I was really like feeling weird. It's too cold for me.
So it's actually 5 or 6 degrees. Just for the record. Okay.
Okay, Brazil now should be some 30, 35.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
And you have actually it's warmer all year long, right? In Rio.
yeah, they say that there is just two seasons, which is summer and inferno, the summer and the hell. The
So
hell.
Inferno is even warmer, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
The hell is now this period, December, January, and February. Summer is the whole time. In July, there is some 2 weeks that make some 15, 20 degrees. But
That's cold.
yeah, they call it cold. So
Okay.
it's cool. Yeah, I'm missing a little bit of food sometimes also.
What's the food that you don't?
A good barbecue, beans.
There was I remember some years ago, there was in Eurove a Brazilian kind of barbecue place, right?
Yeah, it,
I don't remember how it was called.
it went off even before I arrived here.
Okay.
But I think they tried, some steak place.
Yeah, where you have this kind of meat in the stick.
This
as
is
they call
awesome.
it. So that was an awesome
This
place.
is awesome. In Prague, there is one. I was there the other day with Kat and really enjoyed some nice barbecue.
Okay.
But sometimes I try to do with my friends, barbecue at home.
Mhm.
But yeah, this food a little bit from there is something that I miss. But it's not something that I cannot, that I will die for.
Mhm.
Beach also, I will not die if I don't have that. It's actually weird to have the beach close by you and you need to be the whole day at the office. So
Yeah, it's like
good on the weekend.
productivity loss in that thought process.
Yeah,
Like,
so I go to the beach when I'm on vacation or something.
yeah. No, so and the Slovak winter is it not hitting you too much?
The first year was difficult. It was the first time I was getting a very harsh, but I didn't know what to wear. I didn't know what vitamins to take, and stupid taking hot showers. And today I don't even get sick anymore. Like I do my prevention and I'm fine,
Mhm.
totally fine. Wear the right clothes in the right time, and I'm good.
Mm.
I'm
So you
good.
can learn.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
learned. I
that's
suffered, but I learned. Got sick like 10 times in a year, but I learned the lesson.
What's your favorite Slovak food?
I always choose the halushki. I like the sausage klobasa, I think, too. And yeah, man, I think the halushki is a very good like hangover food. Let's
Okay.
say.
So for the day after.
Classic. I'm going with the classic. Yeah.
And did you bring some of your family or friends here?
Not from Brazil. It's difficult to come. It's very expensive. The exchange rate doesn't help. But
Mhm.
people from other countries, they ended up coming to Vienna or Prague, and they come here for 1 day, or I go around and meet them. But for my family, it's difficult. I usually go there.
Mhm.
I try to go once a year, twice a year
Mhm.
to visit them. But yeah, for them to come is difficult. They're trying actually. They're trying. I think next winter they will be able to come. My mom and dad.
Mhm.
Trying to help
Because you
them
need a
too.
visa plus there's a flight. It's like 12 hours flight.
Yeah, and they're not that young anymore, and they don't speak English, so they're afraid of going to the airport and someone asks a question in English they don't know.
Mm. No, but the same issues for my mom, right?
Yeah.
But she
I
doesn't
can-
even. She's the kind of Italian and has to drive just 5 hours. But it's the same. Like she feels lost without so much support. But
Yeah.
but I think in this we should be quite grateful for the place and moment in time we are in that allowed us to, uh, feel basically at home everywhere because we have the tools to, at least in more than half of the world, to communicate and
What do you mean? I didn't get that.
like if
You-
you can speak English, right? You know how to go
yeah.
around. You're used to travel. So for you, if tomorrow they tell you, okay, now go and live in I don't know, in Italy, you're not gonna be
Definitely.
like, okay, what? I'm scared. You go there and live.
Definitely. I saw that when I moved to Czechia right now. And in 1 week, I solved everything because I really was with a lot of experience of changing countries.
Mhm.
So I really quickly went after the things that I needed at home,
Mhm.
signed up for things that I knew I
Mhm.
was going to be using. So I didn't like break my head too long or faced any constraints. I remember the first time I moved to the US, it was like I planned to be there 6 months, and until I get everything set up for me to, okay, now I can start living. Took me 3 months, so it was a waste of time. So yeah, definitely the experience and the languages help us to like sort things faster.
That is not for our parents, right? And that is.
Yeah, definitely
Uh,
not.
And sometimes, I would love them to see what I could see and to learn what I could learn, right? That would be, and you recognize how it hasn't been always like that. I think in much more in the past, right? It's usually parents and kids had a kind of similar level of knowledge, and now it has exponentially grown for us, and it's gonna be even more for the next generation, right? So
Yeah,
in case you're gonna have kids, or in my case, like that they are already bilingual, right? They just speak two languages. I have no idea what they're gonna do, but for sure they have more tools than I do.
they speak. Your wife is Slovak.
Yeah, so they speak Slovak and Italian,
Italian.
and that is you speak Portuguese and English, right? But you're not bilingual, and it's totally different thing if you're bilingual. It's like also how the brain is producing the initial language and how it's understanding it. Like less perhaps brain power is needed for it.
Yeah, our kids will save a lot of time learning other languages. That we struggled so much, we lost so much time. We invested so much time.
And cool. So how do you consider Alan before the Slovak experience and after that, right? How different are you? How improved or worse or whatever? How did it change you this journey?
Oof. I think the only difference that I can see is that the experience here gave me a lot of like expertise in some areas, also more culturally speaking. I'm more like more aware of other cultures, and like it was a normal experience professionally and life experience, and like you feel like really that you have grown with that, and I think it's a great place to start a career, because it's like entry level jobs. This is excellent opportunity. So I felt like that. I felt like I arrived here very raw, even though I had already some experience. And through my journey in Johnson Controls with this business and dealing with many more different cultures, because Europe is really like that. In the US, in Brazil, it was like a single culture. So it makes you really like grow so fast grow so fast because you see different views from different perspectives from a lot of countries that are around here. Like at your daily work, you are working not only with one or two different country people, but with like 5 different 10 people nationalities there. So like this makes you grow so fast.
Yeah, I mean, compared the startup with working for a big corporate, right? I think it's in the level of number of people you are dealing with every day, right?
There's a hell of a difference working. Now I'm in this company, I'm working for Prime Revenue in Czechia. They have 200 employees. When I arrived there, I was shocked. Because in Johnson Montrose, I don't know how many people in this building.
Yeah, 200
2,000.
were just in
One department.
Yeah.
So I was like shocked. I arrived in such a fast pace, man. I wanted to do everything and people were just like, look, chill out. Chill out, let's go for a cake. Then we have time to work. And then I said... So yeah, when it's an entry-level big corporation, it's a hell of a learning. On top of that, many different cultures around you, so it's a hell of an experience. For me, maybe you guys are used from here. European people are already used, but for me, from Brazil, coming out of nowhere, man, surrounded by favelas, coming here was a great opportunity, and yeah, man. It was just great.
Cool.
It was the right choice, for sure. I came a little bit on an accident, let's say. With the startup that I was, they said, okay, now you need to move to Bratislava. But in the beginning, I was like, But today, I just like, thanks so much
For the
that this
action.
happened.
Is there anything we haven't shared yet you would like to share?
I think we covered essentially my life, how I came here, like professional experience, what I like, what I don't like from here. There was like maybe something about future, but
Where are you going now? But now you're in Czech Republic, like 2 months, so I expect you're gonna stay there for quite a while.
I'm in love with the job there,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm also in love with someone from here, so we're trying to sort out how this is gonna look like. But for now, I'm having a dual life here and there. For example, today I'm here. It's Tuesday. I worked home office this 2 days from here. But I think it's gonna be like this. I still have Stylista here, but I want to bring to Czechia for sure.
Stylista.cz
.eu one day.
Oh yes, of course.
But yeah, I think this is it. I definitely want to make more investments here. I think the real estate is really a good place to invest here in Slovakia and Czechia. Like invest in companies here, startups. If you're on top of all of that, you're good. You know. And there's communities there speaking English. There are young people speaking English. So it's just like, don't stick with the corporate life. Like try to get your side business, and I think that's the message here. There's a lot of opportunity.
And you can learn also more, like by being corporate and your own business, you might even
you gotta be
get the best out of two worlds.
You gotta be in corporate to learn, right? I don't want to leave corporate, but I do want to do something apart from that for me, you know, because on my company right now I learn a lot. On Johnson Montrose I learned a lot, and you keep on learning, you know. And essentially you will just bring what the leaders from these companies are doing to your company.
Yeah.
Right? You bring the best practices from these big corporations that have a lot of experience to your startup, to your business. So I don't want to leave. You know? I could work for free there just for learning. Of course, we need to pay the bills, but the experience that it brings, it's very valid. So yeah, answering for the future, I think it will be dual life for now.
Prague and Bratislava are not so far between this.
No,
like 3
I
hours or
come on the
something.
train, it's quick.
So
Open the laptop
It's a good. Still a clear way to go back and forth, particularly by train, I would say, right?
Yeah.
It's good. And and those two countries have several things in common. So that you basically don't. I mean, you feel kind of in a similar surrounding, right? In
Definitely.
both areas. So
Definitely.
cool. Okay, so Alan,
Cool, man.
thank you so much for sharing and for
Thanks.
being here. And it was a very big pleasure. I will put all the links for how to find you and how to find for your new kind of side activity as well and the
Cool.
website.
Put LinkedIn and Stylista there, and let's keep in touch.
Yeah, and good luck for whatever is coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers.
Thank you everyone for listening to my Slovak experience. See you at the next interview. Till then, have fun, share and enjoy.
So, did you like my Slovak Experience podcast? If yes, you can share it with your friends and peers. They can listen it from many sources, such as iTunes, Stitcher, Tuning Radio, or Spotify. And now you can also watch us on video while we are recording on YouTube. Thank you.